Hey, community group leaders and teachers, I hope you're doing well and having a fabulous day. Hey, I'm excited to introduce this week's Leadership Minute. This is one more tool that you can have in your tool belt to lead more effectively. Over the last couple of weeks with the start of the new year, we've been looking at some different tools that I believe will make us the most successful in leading our community groups into 2022 and beyond, whether we face uncertainties of new waves of COVID-19 or anything else. We'll be prepared to lead and be more effective in engaging with everyone around us. The last couple weeks, we looked specifically at ways that we can grow by personally investing in our walk with God, by praying and spending intimacy with Him to develop vision for the year ahead. We talked about taking that a step further and interceding for people in our community groups. This week, I want to talk about investing relationally, diving deep into the community of people that we're called to lead. You know, Philippians paints a really good picture in Philippians 2 of how Paul was intentionally investing in his community. As you read the book of Philippians, you can see Paul talking at a macro level, talking about some big, heavy theological concepts like continuing ministry, whether he serves in ministry, whether he continues to be in chains and serves that way in prison from his prison cell, or whether he gets to go on and be with the Lord. He cares about advancing the gospel. And any way that happens, he's thrilled with making that happen. I think that paints a good picture for us. But in the middle of that, we also see Paul's intentional concern for the people that he was serving, the people that he was leading, and we see a little bit of this relationship model develop. Paul was intentional in investing in the lives of everyone in the church communities that he started, which gives us a pattern as leaders that we should also invest relationally in those that we lead. So you read as an example in Philippians 2, verse 25, I think it's necessary to send back to you Epaphroditus, my brother, co-worker, and fellow soldier, who is also your messenger, whom you sent to take care of my needs. For he longs for all of you and is distressed because you heard he was ill. And then Paul goes on to say, well, he was ill, but God actually healed him. And so now he's been a comfort to me, even when he was sick. Now I want to send him back as an encouragement to you, as a messenger for what's going on happening here while I'm in prison. Paul uses Epaphroditus as an example to say, here's somebody that we both know, that I've invested heavy relationship in, you've invested heavy relationship in, but now I'm sending him back to you as someone who's got to have a little bit more time with me, so it's almost like you get to have a relationship with me in proxy. If that's not enough to point out that Paul valued relationships, if you look at Philippians chapter 4, verse 2, you see even a little bit more clearly Paul talking about his relationships with people at the church there in Philippi. He says, I plead with Euodia, I plead with Syntyche to be of the same mind in the Lord. Yes, I ask you, my true companion, help these women, since they have contended at my side in the cause of the gospel, along with Clement and the rest of my co-workers whose names are in the book of the life. See, I love how Paul talks about this, because he's talking about these are women who I've worked alongside of, I care about them deeply, help them to continue to grow and help them to not have any sort of disagreement or contention with anything. Instead, remind them, as I'm reminding you, our goal is to help people know Jesus, to help Him be known, and to help other people walk deeply in relationship with Him. All that to say, Paul dropped a bunch of names throughout this book and throughout many of his books because he cared deeply about those individuals and had relationships with them. One of the leadership traits that we can develop as leaders is the ability to know people that are part of our community so well that we can pour into their lives, that we know what's going on, that we can pray with them, we can intercede for them. And so my challenge to you as a leader, taking that a step back to the most practical level possible, each week, call at least one person in your community group. Maybe it's to have coffee with them, maybe it's just to have a conversation with them. Get to know them. Find out how they're doing as a person, how they're growing in their walk with God, what are their biggest challenges, biggest strengths. Help them to grow. Doing all of that will help you become a better leader. It will help you become a better follower of Jesus because you're starting to invest in their lives and they feel like you're investing in them because you genuinely care about them. I hope that's one more tip that will help you grow in your leadership capacity, as well as one more tip that will help you in your journey as you run hard after Jesus. If you have any questions about this or any other Leadership Minute, feel free to reach out to me. I look forward to seeing you back here again next week for another round of Leadership Minute. Hey, blessings.